Hi guys, welcome to the third part of my alternate future of the world. The first thing we'll see in this episode is a Saudi Arabian invasion of Yemen. Many airstrikes later, Saudi Arabia starts armed invasion of Yemen. Running into the north. And then they started another offensive into the resource-rich area. Their main goal is to secure Yemen under their rule. They surround the city of Sana'a, and they take the city. They land in this island, and they push up from the south, splitting Yemen in two. Yemen basically has no chance because Yemen is the weakest country in the world. They take the country completely over, and Saudi Arabia decides to fully annex the nation. And this is one of the reasons tensions between Saudi Arabia and Iran start to increase. It is after weeks of negotiation, NATO decides to make it a world treaty organization, but no, that didn't work. The occupation of Honduras ends. And Peru is checkmated. They can't expand anymore. But America decides it'll invade Iraq again. Iraq is a nation you invaded 2 times. I don't see why they wouldn't take a third chance. Which angers Iran. They push up in the south. After making an amphibious landing in troops they have in these nations nearby, they cross with. Saudi Arabia and the Peninsula Shield Force all decide to put their backings behind America, along with Jordan and Israel. The axis of resistance gives support to Iraq, as we as their enemies are all supporting the other side. Turkey enters into Syria at this time. Well, they already occupied territory, so it made it easy to push into these territories. They have all their army pushing in. And then after this, the axis of resistance blames this on America, declares war on America. With American forces in Iraq getting heavier and Turkish forces. This does lead way to an Iranian counter-offensive. Bulgaria is asked and Albania decide to join the war on the side of Turkey. And this is when more European nations start backing America, like Germany, France. This is an escalated war. More forces cross in the southwest area, with the Kurdish regions heaving the heaviest amounts. Turkey thus calls on its ally Azerbaijan, which Iranian forces managed to push back out of this region and up here. And then they push in further, along with American troops being fully mobilized. This is where the axis of resistance starts folding or crumbling. And all these territories are occupied. A crossing into Iran is made. And from Azerbaijan, they push in. And from Turkey. Azerbaijan seeing no chance. Iran seeing no chance of victory agrees to peace, which they lose very little land. A new Iraqi government is made. Turkey decides to annex these territories. I'm not saying they would easily be able to hold it, but, they probably could. America wants to annex Iraq, but seeing how they're miles away makes America decide just to occupy it. This area is split between Turkey and Azerbaijan. Iran has suffered greatly. Azerbaijan joins the treaty, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization. The Arab Shield. Iran remains independent. America occupies Iraq because America be America. And this America is very imperialist. Now they occupy two whole nations. Well, they are established to be a world power. Well, the most surprising attack happens in Canada. A bunch of people in Quebec demand independence. They start taking over territories. And now they go to war with Canada. Well, it doesn't go too well for Quebec. Britain, France, and Germany decide to join the war. Britain and France join the war Britain joins the war on the side of Canada. But British troops are being awaited for to fight with Canadian troops. Canada gets pushed back by these rebels. And Quebec starts establishing itself. Which is really, well, and good. That Quebec is starting to establish itself as an independent nation. There's a bit of a stalemate, as Canada managed to stop Quebec, but they haven't completely stopped Quebec. And then British troops arrive and Quebec is started to be pushed back. They got pushed back off Gaspé. These Quebec rebels are strong. Canada which has won the war, coming out victorious. And then we have one more advent, which is not a surprise. With Algeria and Morocco going to war. Nope, I don't think so. But yeah. Algeria declares war on Morocco. And started an offensive into Morocco. They managed to take this much land before the Westers get involved. Morocco hears that France and America are readying to invade. Algeria calls on its ally, Libya. America is becoming the strongest nation, increasingly strong. Then they managed to get Britain, Germany, and Italy to support. Libya joins the war on the side of Algeria. American troops managed to make it there and they push Algeria back out of Morocco pretty quickly. There was more, but I'm not going to go into too much details because there's a lot in these videos. Where Algeria is being rapidly pushed back. Loads of American and French troops are landing. With Italy and Britain and Germany sending volunteer armies. They push in the north mostly. Tunisia allows them to use their soil to get through. And they take it to their advantage. Which goes really successful. They then capture the city of Algiers. Algeria surrenders. Nope, they don't. They keep fighting. Which doesn't serve any purpose. With all their major cities falling. They then rapidly push in. Then they hit the desert, but you know, there's not much realism. They land here. And it's at this time, Libya and Algeria quit the war. These lands are annexed by Morocco. These lands are annexed by France. The rest are occupied by the Americans. Libya has no punishment because they gave up. Well, NATO is establishing themselves as extremely strong. Iran reforms the axis of resistance with Libya and Afghanistan. And this is where America is acknowledged as a world power. Oh, France is. America is the strongest nation, and I expect with what's going on them to stay the strongest nation. Well, Canada had a civil war in this episode. Pretty crazy. And there is another war that breaks out, which is a war between Namibia and South Africa. Which Botswana decides to join. South Africa pushes up into Namibia and Botswana. So this South Africa is becoming increasingly powerful, which allows them to do this. Sweep right in. At this point, they give up all hope. This is where another unification happens. This is where officially Somaliland is deemed as independent. Well, this alliance then turns towards Russia and joins the CSTO. And we have one more thing. The Peru and Bolivia unite again, forming the Peru-Bolivian War. And at this time, they see if Bangladesh and Indonesia are interested. Well, Indonesia is, but Bangladesh isn't. It is at this time NATO decides to merge with this alliance. The Australian Pact and NATO now unite. And it'll take a while to color it all in. But America decides to see if the Rio Pact wants to also unify with it, which most of the members, the majority of the members vote in favor of. Which is really good. Well, East Timor has also joined. In case I haven't mentioned that. And it is now the world's biggest alliance. Now it's known as the World Treaty Organization. It's basically because it's just unified with everything. So now it's impossible to attack anybody, basically. At this time, they decide to keep Mexico occupied and Iraq and Algeria. But at this point, China decides to make an alliance of its own called the Shanghai Defense Organization, which includes these countries. In the Iran Pact, well, I did say join Russia, but for some reason I'm not getting the exact same color. Look, see? Isn't that weird? Darker. And these two Central Asian nations are left. And here's the recap of the video. South Africa expanded even more. Morocco and Algeria went to war. America occupied Algeria. Iraq they invaded. Iran went to war with America. America wins that, getting that. Quebec attacks Canada, but Canada wins that war. Not many problems. Russia is still frozen because there's nothing they can really do. And then we have NATO merging with creating the World Treaty Organization with the Rio Pact, the Australian Pact, and NATO into the World Treaty Organization. And that's the end for this video. It would be very helpful if you subscribe. And since Canada Day is coming up, to celebrate that, I tell you to share this video with everyone you know. The end. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.